Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening. So, I came across this article. I thought it was interesting. I usually pull out things that I think are really hot articles or hot topics or interesting or things that are happening right now that affect communities and people that we know that live around us, or it could possibly affect people that we live close to, and things that we know that we're dealing with day to day. And so, this is an incident that is not isolated. It has been happening all over America. We've been seeing videos that have been cropping up all over the place about racist incidents. And so this Chipotle worker, she's an employee. She says that an internet mob falsely painted her as a racist. And so there have been multiple videos that have been on Twitter about this particular employee. And so there's two sides to every story, of course. So let's read this article. It's out of CNN. And so this particular employee claims that now this is one of these type of things that's opinionated. And so I will say this in my own opinion, there have been a lot of racial incidences that have happened. And on sometimes these things happen on either side, but a lot of it has been happening from people who are very oppositional about people of color. However, we do have some people that are accused of things, sometimes falsely accused of things, or they're not really understood, or we don't see all of the video to its entirety. There's things that are cropped out or left out, but we have to decide in our own sound judgment what we think about this. However, we'll say this, there have been incidences of violence, there's been incidences of racial backlash, there's been politics involved in it, and we know what is happening in this country. There's been lots of divide on all kinds of issues. So, without further ado, how an internet mob falsely painted a Chipotle employee as a racist. Let's see and let's make our own conclusive decision, our opinions on what we feel about this. So Dominique Moran knew something was wrong. As soon as she awakened that Friday morning, she turned on her smartphone and saw the first of what would become a barrage of texts and voicemails. Are you okay? I just wanted you to know that a video of you is going around has surfaced with you, this person. Hey, you're on Twitter. Only the night before, Moran was an unknown 23-year-old student in St. Paul, Minnesota. She has moved there from Southern California to attend college on a softball scholarship. Living alone in a new city, she worked at Chipotle to make ends meet and attend the Lutheran church. So that morning, though, she discovered that she had become someone else. Strangers were calling her nasty names on social media, and her photo was plastered across the internet news sites. A video was circulating online, especially Twitter, and I added that in there because I saw the videos. And she was its villain. In it, she could be seen refusing to serve a group of black men at a restaurant in the previous evening. So here she is here, and let me show you her face. And so this was an image of Dominique Moran that rocketed around the social media sector after she was falsely accused of being a racist. That's what allegedly they're saying here. So her notoriety spread quickly that her mother called her from California the next day, worried, of course. What happened? What did you do? Slow down, Moran told her. There's a backstory. We're good. But Moran didn't feel so good after having to see what's going on. After hanging up, her body went numb and she took deep breaths. She felt a panic attack coming, and she then fell from her chair and collapsed. As she gathered herself in her apartment floor, she reached for the only form of solace she could think of. She started to pray. So, the rise of ambient racism. Okay, this is the next segment. So, just about every week, we see the same story. So they say. Someone takes a jittery smartphone video of a white person caught in an act of doing something, it's labeled racist. So an army of online commenters mobilizes and the video goes viral, and the person in the video is publicly shamed, so often losing a job or being ostracized by the community. And so that's usually the end result if it turns out the person has been found guilty of committing whatever it is. If it's discrimination or something that goes against the job policy, they end up getting fired. So his or her name becomes a hashtag for hate. So the circulation of these racist outrage videos is so common that they've become an online version of background noise. So the social scientist Eugene Sayapera says that they often trigger ambient digital racism. So racially toxic online posts from ordinary people that are so commonplace they no longer shock. So, yet, there is another part of this story that is rarely told because it is not as common. What happens when you are falsely accused of being a racist in a video? How does your life change after you become a racist meme? How do you handle your own outrage? And so for the last 6 months, Moran has been trying to answer those questions. She was dubbed online as a racist bitch. So the video of her November confrontation was watched at least 7 million times and retweeted at least 30,000 times within 2 days. The incident was covered by media organizations such as ABC News and Fox News. Okay, and so we've seen this picture of this woman before. This was the barbecue incident, and it turned out she really did do what she did. She called the police on a group of people who were merely barbecuing. And so this woman made headlines May 2018 after she called police to accuse a black family of illegally barbecuing in an Oakland, California park. Chipotle fired Moran after the video went viral. So this girl that we're talking about in this article, she lost her job at Chipotle, which was helping her with her college. But while the internet mob moved on, she hasn't. Life is really difficult, she said. Everything has changed for her. She talks as if she's experienced some digitally induced form of post traumatic stress disorder, mood swings, anxieties. She sometimes recoils when someone tries to take a smartphone video or picture of her. So, in a conversation, Moran exudes a mixture of defiance and vulnerability. She often alludes to her faith and says, God has a plan, but she doesn't know what the plan is for her yet. At various times, she wanted to be a teacher, a cook, a writer. Introspect and a bit melancholy, Moran draws portraits and writes poetry in her spare time. Moran says that she spent a lot of time alone because of the viral video, I guess feeling shame or somebody would ID her. So I don't really have a desire to meet new people right now. I feel drained of energy, maybe though there's something to be learned from her pain. It's been said that a lie will go around the world while the truth is pulling its boots on. Okay, so that's an adage. That adage has never been truer than when the entire online audience is, as one critic put it, perpetually primed for outrage. So, could anything have prevented Moran's public shaming, and why did it spread so quickly when there were warning signs from the beginning? So, there were three factors at play that made her story so disturbing, one which offers at least some hope. The reason one, the power of confirmation bias. Okay, so it started about 10 minutes before closing time on a Thursday night. A group of a half a dozen black men, young black men, walked in, chatting loudly among themselves while aiming smartphone cameras at Chipotle employees. Now, we're hearing this. This is allegedly what these people are saying happened, the incident. They're back, one of Moran's colleagues told her as the men streamed into the food line. So Moran recognized two of them, and only 2 days before, she said that their credit cards had been declined when they lined up to pay. So she had also been warned about them not paying before. Okay, so, and seen on the video footage of them dining and dashing. So this is what these guys, they're claiming that they have this pattern of dining and dashing. And so they gave these Chipotle employees a problem, and then they started shooting a cell phone video, and then they made these people look, in fact, like they were being racist towards them when they already knew that these people had an issue with them prior and that they had a history of dining and dashing. So we would have to see all of that, of course, but they had ordered their food in a takeout line and given the cashier a credit card, then dashed. And with their food after the card was declined. Okay, so you gotta pay because you never have money when you come in, Moran told them. So I did see that in a video where she said that, but the way they showed the video, it made it look as though when they showed the video is that they just came in and she told them that, and they happened to be black and she happened to be, you know, not black, that it looked as though that she was racially profiling, or, it was racially motivated. So the men erupted in indignation, and at least one started recording. So she's making crazy accusations. Y'all racist. We got no money. Okay, so here he is here. And they're young. They're probably teenagers or young, not even, maybe they're young adults. So the Chipotle video shows a group of black men protesting when they were told that they must pay receiving their food. So Moran returned home that night. She was drained. The men made so much noise about what she had done. She had a headache, and so she called the police twice to defuse the situation, but it seemed like forever before they had arrived. So it got worse, of course. We know that in the video that I saw, it did seem to get a lot out of hand. But plus, there was something she says that she didn't want the men to see. When she handed their business card to one of them after the police arrived, she said he laughed and taunted her when he saw her hand. It was shaking. I cried a lot, she said, just kind of broke down. Her ordeal was only beginning, so at 9:49 p.m. that night, one of the men posted the video of the confrontation on Twitter, and it is still on Twitter. So he has not responded for several interview requests on CNN. Along with the video, he posted this caption: Can a group of young men, well established African American, get a bite to eat after a long workout session? It went viral. Online commentators pounced, and national media picked it up, and it fit into the pre existing narratives that have been going on with real incidences that have been happening. Of course, as that say, it seemed to be another example of a new form of racial profiling being caught on camera or on video. So the social media landscape had been filled with accounts of white people accosting black and brown people in public settings, where everything from wearing white socks at a public pool or barbecuing in the park. Here, it seemed, was another act of public humiliation. And so basically, that's the whole article. And so this is just a screenshot of the guy. And I believe there may be a screenshot of the woman, but that's not the woman. That's another incident that they're trying to kind of like, use it as comparative. But this incident really was a problem. It was racial profiling, and it turned out to be what it really was. So it is, it is not the same as this, what they're claiming this is. And this is a screenshot of the woman, Moran, who was the Chipotle worker, once was, and she now is without a job at Chipotle because of this incident that surfaced all over Twitter. And so there was a little section in here where um, I don't know if this will click on those videos at all. It may, or it may. Okay, Chipotle is rehiring a manager who refused to serve a group of. Okay, so they're rehiring. This is the update. Let's read this. They're going to rehire her because they saw, apparently they must have saw this. So let me read the update. This is the Chipotle. And so they're rehiring the manager who refused to serve a group of black men before they paid. Okay, so Delish Tess Coleman. This is November 21, 2018. So I don't know if this is the same incident. Report the fact manager her job back after her apparent investigation of Assad Ali's alleged tweets. Chipotle issued the following statement of the outlet after the offer. Based on our review, we have offered our manager her job back while our normal protocol was followed serving the customers. We probably apologize to the manager for being put in this position. We will work to continue ensure that we support and respect workplace for our employees and the customers alike. Yesterday, the manager, so this is the same incident. And so it has the video attached to it. Yesterday, the manager, who has now been identified as Dominique Moran, told the Star Tribune that she was obviously trying to do the right thing when she refused service to the group of men. She continued, so I told Chipotle to tell the boys I say sorry. I didn't think that I would lose my job, and I thought I did something good by standing up for my peoples, but Moran hasn't yet decided whether or not she will take her job back. Original post 11/2018. St. Paul, Minnesota Chipotle manager was fired that week after the video surfaced of her refusing a group of young black men before they paid. That went viral on Twitter. Days later, the chain is considering rehiring her. That was out of Huffington Post as well. So below the video is of Masad Ali, 21 years of age, so young adults. Begin with her telling Ali that him and his friends need to pay before, and that you never have money when you come in here. But both she and another employee refused to make the men's orders unless they could provide proof of income. Okay, so can a group of young, well-established African Americans get a bite to eat after a long workout session? So the video has retweeted 300 times, or no, not 300, but 30,000 times, watched more than 7 million times since it was posted on Friday. It sounded really racist the way she said it was racist. Ali told Star Tribune of the manager in the video on Friday, so she asked proof of income. And so proof of income, I don't know that that would be a good idea. It would have been more, I think it would have made more sense if she had just told him that they refuse service because they're having problems with the group of men instead of asking for proof of income. So that's probably the part that didn't rub the guys well and didn't look very well. It did kind of look like a race thing. But then, too, if the guys are problematic and they keep coming in and dining and dashing, that I would think you would not want them to come in to do the same thing again. So you'd have some kind of security in place, or you try to do something where you would try to say, "Look, we're not going to be dealing with you because we're going to have, especially when they start getting rowdy, we're not going to be dealing with you." But let's take a look at the video and see what happened here.
What we gotta do? What we gotta do? Because you never have money when you come in. We never have money. We got no money, bro. Can we just get our food? Can we just get our food, bro? Apparently, we ain't got no money. We ain't got no money. My nigga. Bro, you know me. I'll pay you every freaking day. I'm not even worried about that. Can we get our food? I didn't need to see her before. Well, I've never seen this. Some crazy stuff. Somebody beat your vein. I'm gonna get my food, bro. What? I'm doing this. She's doing this making crazy accusations. Bro, what is this? She's doing this making accusations. Yeah. We don't say it. For what reason? For what reason? I come here every day. For what? I'm about to be up on here. This shit wild. Can I get a burrito, bro? I don't like the stereotypes. I don't like it. Yo, hold on. Can we get our food though? So we gonna get served or not? Yo, we at the Grand Chipotle in St. Paul, MM, bro. What's up? Can we get served? Yo, put this on Twitter. Yeah, man. Hold it, bro. We got damn, bro. They're really hard. Hey, shout out, man. And you understand. On that way, I'm about to D off of this shit. What's those names, bro? Well, yeah, ass, bro. Okay. All right, bro. Can we get our food? Can we get our food, bro?
I'm not paid, so I guess. I mean, like, we're not gonna make food unless you guys actually have money.
All right. So what is that? What do you mean? Hold on. I'm not on the camera. Hold on. Why did you not have to pay? Why did you not have to pay? Why did he not have to pay? Sir, can you explain to us why you didn't have to pay before you got your meal? Nah, bro, are you no, bro? Are you being serious right now? Are you serious? Are you being serious? No. Bro, can we get some shit? Bro, can we get our food? You see us coming here. They do this, bro.
So there you have it. That's the video. It does look like they're giving the workers a hard time. And there had to been some other protocol put in place if these guys were in fact problematic. But the thing that I would think is that asking them to pay first before they get their food. I don't know if that is something that they can legally do. I don't know. Um, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that the guys might have been an issue, that they're a group of young guys and they were clowning around? And we do have that in restaurants, in donut shops, even, I've been places where young people will clown around, play games, and it's nothing, it's just to them, it's they're joking around and being teenagers or young people and, getting into, some little trouble. But then sometimes it is real issues where people are being racially profiled. So, what do you think this is? What are your thoughts on this? Do you think the guys might have been racially profiled? Should they have handled this a different way? You see, there was a worker in the back. He was a black guy. He kind of looked at him, but he didn't have much to say to them. He wasn't as confrontational as the other workers were. So they claim that these guys have come in and dined and dashed. If they have video of this, that would have been helpful. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. The only thing I've seen is there was some problems. Um, we don't know all of the story except what they tell us, both sides. But I know that it seems kind of awkward to ask this group, you pay first when you have everybody else there ordering their food and then they pay after. And here, these people order their food, Chipotle, you order your food and what you order and then you ring it up. But why would you have them to pay first and you haven't made any of the food? It just doesn't make sense to me. You get what I'm saying? So that kind of seems like you're treating people unfairly too as well. So they might have gave this girl a hard time, but I didn't see her really, she said, "Oh, you've come in here before," and blah 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 blah, and "Hey, bro, you guys gotta pay first." I didn't see her breaking down in tears. I didn't see her look like she was, really having this breakdown. Maybe she had the breakdown when she lost the job initially in the beginning. So maybe they had video. That's the reason why they hired her back. Maybe they had video of these guys coming in before, and they might have did something because sometimes people do die in that. So I'm sort of like in the middle of it. It's kind of a conundrum. But anyway, the other thing that I think really sucks is that there have been real incidences such as this one right here, where the woman made headlines May 2018, where she had called the police and accused the black family of illegally barbecuing in an Oakland, California park. These people weren't bothering anybody, they were barbecuing, and this woman called the police. So this really did happen. And there have been other incidences that have really been happening that are racially profiling and racially motivated. So you can't put the two of those things together. Although they did say there was an internet mob, so What's your thought and feedback on this? This is a, a very confusing situation. And yes, it's true. People can make up stories and pretend, like something else is going on when they are not being honest and they're not paying their, for their food. There have been things like that, but come on. What do you think about this? Are two people wrong here? Because the way she spoke, I didn't see her in tears. She looked like she kind of smiling too. Let's go back to this. She looked to me like she was kind of smiling. She wasn't broken down in tears as they said she was. Maybe after she,
Hold on. So what we gotta do? What we gotta do? We never have money. We got no money, bro. Like, can we just get our food? Yeah. Can we just get our food, bro? Bro, apparently we ain't got no money. We ain't got no money. My nigga.
and the young guys, they are kind of like making a big fuss and a ruckus, and they should just leave, go to another restaurant. There are other restaurants out there that you can eat at. If you feel the service is not right, just go to another restaurant. Don't get into a confrontation with people. And there's a bunch of, I'm sure there were a bunch of other restaurants out there that they could have went to. So, what are your thoughts on this? It's just unfortunate that these things happen. But anyway, I'm going to leave this video, like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for listening.